Hey, good morning. Yes, it is. It is Friday, May 16th, right? So, what are we going to talk about today? Well, I want to go a little farther with the subscription plan Steve you brought up for breakdowns and stuff. I'd like to go further into that and then kind of let you know how busy we are in the shop finishing out the week with a yard full of equipment. So, stay tuned. Hey, welcome back to the channel. My name is Eric, and yes, this is the weekday, Monday through Friday. Today is Friday, the 16th of May, 2025. So, what are we talking about today? I want to finish up where we left off yesterday, and that was with service plans. Service plans can work out to your advantage, you know, twofold. One is it gives you a set amount that's in the bank, for the year. You're going to collect at least that much, right? And hopefully you're able to take that money and cover all the costs involved with covering each person's mower, right? But that's just to do yearly service. That means your weed eaters and all that stuff. Now, Steve, you brought up a great topic on, well, what about repairs? Well, repairs are falling into a different category because as the machines get older, they're going to have more issues, right? And more prone to breakdowns. The positive thing is if you can get enough people interested in paying in, is that you're seeing it more often. So it's serviced, it's taken care of, and it's less likely to break down or have issues if you're seeing it more often. With seeing it more often, it's taking away your time from doing other stuff, right? But I'm not sure how your shop runs, but usually after the spring rush, which usually goes until the end of this month, it starts getting quiet unless somebody has a major breakdown. And if you had a repair type in place, if someone had even the slightest problem with that piece of equipment, you would see it. Whereas if they had to pay for it again, you probably wouldn't see it. You see where I'm going? So you'd see it when it had even a slight issue, and that slight issue could be operator error, which is usually 99% of the time. Of whether, it's not following the directions on how to start something. And we've talked about that, with the weed trimmers and all that. That before you just put the choke on, primed it a couple times, cranked on it until it purred, and then flip it over to either half choke or all the way off, right? Now you put it on full choke, prime it so many times, pull it 4 times, put it to 3/4, pull it so many more times, put it down to 1/4. I mean, it's why they've overcomplicated things is beyond me. But that's, if you look at the side of the weed trimmers, that's exactly what they're saying. And it's even, for me anyways, it's even harder with the easy starts. They drive me freaking crazy. But, it's kind of like, how do you put it? An insurance company. An insurance company stays in the blue because it's all a numbers game. So if you could get 1,000 people involved paying a yearly fee, like you see on TV with these vehicles where they say older vehicles, will guarantee them bumper to bumper transmissions, engines for X number of dollars a year. The only way that works is if you have more customers paying in than repairs going out, right? So it's a numbers game. So the more people they can get signed on to that program, the better they stay in the blue. And the less repairs that they have done, the more they stay in the blue, right? But for most of us that have shops, we don't have that many customers to have it be a numbers game. So we'd have to jack the price up versus the numbers, right? So we'd have to charge the customers a higher yearly fee to get that feeling, where if they had a breakdown, that you were going to cover it. And a lot of times you'll hear me when I was telling you, we're talking about it yesterday, about a yearly service plan. This is the number plus parts. In the service plan, I already know what everything is going to cost, with the exception of air filter for basic service, and then you have your belts and your blades. But if you're signing somebody up, you already know what the machine is. So you can look up what the cost of a drive belt and deck belts are. You can look up how much the blades are, how much the pulleys are. The newer the equipment, the better you can give that service plan. As it gets older, it's going to be prone to more breakdowns. So that's the other thing that you have to look at, is when you're signing on, if you want to do a repair plan for the year, is how old is that piece of equipment? How well do they maintain that equipment when it's not at your shop? And that's pretty easy to find out. And that is, if you have a machine come in and the engine, you can't see it because of all the oil and dirt and grass and everything else that's around it, good chances are they're not doing anything with it other than getting on it, putting gas, probably not even checking the oil, and driving it. And case in point, we had one come in yesterday and it was a no start. They couldn't get it to start. And a lot of times, just hitting it with a little bit of carb cleaner at the beginning of the year to help bring up the fuel, it'll take it off and never have a problem the rest of the summer. But we picked this one up. We had to winch it onto the trailer. We got it back to the shop and put it up on the hoist to take a look. And I am not kidding you. It had a blade that was bent right over. And they still were mowing the yard with it last year. Unreal. It's like... So, I mean, operator error. You got to look at who has it, and the worst is the ones that can least afford to have a breakdown are the ones that don't take care of it. So it's something that you can look at to see if it fits what your needs are and stuff. But to do something like that is kind of outside the realm, at least for me, because I don't have that many customers to spread it over the whole. And the customers that I do have, it would be like $300 to $400 a year. And most customers aren't willing to pay that because they don't pay that just to have a service done. They may not have any repairs all summer long. So they're going to hold back. I can't do it for like $150 or $200 a year because it wouldn't work. Because we'd have more breakdowns than we would the money coming in. But it's just something to give thought to, and put in the comments what your thoughts are. Is it doable? Is there a way to do it with a limited number of customers? Because, like I said, with the insurance, it's a numbers game. The more people you can get signed on, the better you are at getting in the blue. But if you only have X number of customers to work with to begin with, can you still spread it over that many at a reasonable price that they would jump on it so they didn't have any worries all summer long? All right, so to finish up today I thought we'd talk about stuff that's coming into the shop, and trying to get out of the shop. Yesterday morning we picked up another tractor, and then we got back with that. I got a call from another guy, can you pick up that tractor? So we've got 6 tractors sitting in the yard right now. That's farm tractors, small ones, that we need to get to. We have a 6-wheel bike, Polaris, with a dump bed on it and all that stuff. We've got a lot of John Deere's. One came in because they couldn't get any fuel from the tank to the engine. Ended up being a faulty Kohler fuel pump. I replaced that. The O-ring didn't set right. I don't know if you've looked at these newer ones, but they're chintzy. So we were able to pop out the old one that had a good clip in it still and a good O-ring and put it into that pump. But then with doing that, we saw that gas was leaking still coming from the tank to the fuel pump. And one thing you need to do is that when you're working on fuel line, if it's hard and you can see like some slight weather breaks in it, replace it. Because you can't get it soft. We had vice grips, and what we normally do when we do a service is we take a set of channel lock needle nose and we clamp the fuel at the fuel tank so that it can't, when we're changing the fuel filter or stuff like that. This one here, no matter how hard we clamped down on it, the fuel was still able to run through it. So this morning I'm going to take and pop the 2 bolts off to hold the spring for the seat in place. Lift that up high enough to slide a block of wood in, and then I'm going to unhook the fuel line from where it goes into the tank and put in a connector with a new fuel line hooked and see if I can't pull that all the way through to where I need it. And then I'll have brand new right from the fuel tank to the fuel pump and right over to the engine. It's all going to be brand new. And this is on a John Deere 110, one of the older ones. It's original fuel line on it. We've got a Ferris, the newer style 0 turn in. It needed deck wheels, training wheels I call them, and a deck belt. The deck belt went. We've got another Ferris rear seat where it has a rear one tire in it, spins it around. That one's in for a hydraulic issue and sprucing it up because the guy's selling it. I know I'm going to miss some. We got a Troy built in that needs a deck belt and a rear tube. We have a John Deere Sabre in that needs a rear tube and a service on it. We've got a yard full. We've got a John Deere 1010 that's in because the radiator got damaged and there's no aftermarkets for it. So we're going to see. They tried JB welding it, but we're going to try to take that JB weld off and see if we can't solder it. And like I say, the Ford we picked up yesterday morning is not running. It probably is going to need, because the guy said if we could convert it over to 12 volt, but I want to hear it run before I go jumping the gun. It hasn't been started in 5 years. The other one that we're going to get has some leakage around the rear axles. And talking with him, I told him, I said, that could be, it doesn't take much oil to make it look like a lot of oil. I said it could be a soft spot, a dried out spot from where it sits for a period of time. But once you get to using it again, it'll lubricate the seal back up so the seal will do what it's supposed to. And the worst thing you can do is let something sit very long. Even lawnmowers, if they sit on a seal, the rear axle seals, for a long period of time without getting moved, they start to dry out. and then that's where your seepage is going to be. That's where it's going to leak, and it's going to puddle up on the floor or around your axles. But once you get to using it, it lubricates it back up, and you're off and going again. But now he still wants us to pick it up. Carburetor leaks like a sieve, and do the once over from front to back. He's from Arizona, and he has property up here, and he comes up here for the summer. I did a quick video yesterday. I'm going to try to get it finished up and published sometime between now and Sunday of just what is going on here at the shop. But hopefully you guys are staying busy. Yesterday we did boats, docks, just to get that stuff in for the summer people coming up to the lake. We'll do whatever pays money, right? Just to keep things going. How are things going in your shop? Are they staying busy? Because if you're going to get busy, right now is the time you're going to be the busiest. Or at least that's what I find, is the whole month of May. Everybody is in a mad dash to try to get, and they go out to start the lawnmower and it won't start, or this or that. Or the first time out mowing, they find out that the rocks sit higher in the yard than they did last year. The month of May, usually in our area, is when we're going to see breakdowns and when people bring them in to get them serviced. So on that note, you guys have a great Friday, and no guarantees on the weekend. I'm starting to take time away to get other stuff done, and depending on how I feel, because if I'm really tired out, I'm not gonna try to force a video. I like to have a good flow. Like I told you, I don't plan what the video is going to be. I just start talking, and I can talk nonstop for hours. Usually puts people to sleep. But you guys have a great Friday.